Hi, Ayushi. Welcome to the interview.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Shall we start the interview?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Ayushi, tell us about yourself.
Thank you for the question, ma'am. I have lived in Gujarat for a major part of my life, but my family belongs to Uttar Pradesh. So, I grew up enjoying the contrast between the two cultures. And there was always this appreciation of the contrast, and that led me to appreciate art and culture even more. And I decided to pursue design for my undergrad. So, after completing my design studies, I went on to work as an assistant fashion designer with a luxury clothing label for about 20 months. And while working, I realized that I had an interest in tasks related to management, and therefore I started to look for what can I do to design my career and chart a way to reach that position. And I decided to pursue an MBA.
Okay, Miss Ayushi, you've worked in the creative side of the industry. Could you tell us about your role in brief?
Sure, sir. So, uh, actually, my role involved looking after everything, right from the first idea to sketches to the final execution of a sale of the clothes that we made. But majorly, it was about following the trends, doing research on what our customers want, understanding the dynamics of the market, and then accordingly designing the product ranges for the upcoming seasons.
What exactly is the difference between fashion design and fashion technology?
So fashion design is more about ideation and visual aspect of the design industry, and fashion technology is about executing those ideas. It is concerned more with the efficiency of production and floor planning and things like that.
Do any of the principles from fashion technology apply to your domain?
Um, I would say one of the principles that do apply is Kaizen, which means continuous improvement. It is a principle that the people in fashion technology learn about. But I feel in design as well, we are continuously trying to improve whatever product we are offering to the customer. So even after a design is decided upon and the client has agreed to it, if while production we notice that something could be better, we go ahead and work on it. So there's this continuous improvement that is synonymous between both the fields.
Okay, so now let's move to the technical side. Is there a relationship between how you price a product and its demand?
Yes, ma'am. I think there's a relationship between uh, products with higher prices are demanded much less compared to products with lower prices. They have a more mass appeal and larger numbers of people try to buy them.
Okay, so can you represent it graphically?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, it the graph will actually be a downward sloping curve. So if I were to plot it, I would put the quantity of demand on x-axis and the price of the product on y-axis, and then the graph will be a downward sloping curve.
Great. All right. Do you know what is the difference between Nifty and Sensex?
Uh, Nifty and Sensex are indexes, but Nifty is the index of National Stock Exchange, and Sensex is the index of Bombay Stock Exchange.
Okay. What is PE ratio?
I know that PE ratio is price by earnings ratio, but I apologize, I do not understand the intricacies of it. That is where my knowledge
Okay.
about it is the
It's fine, Miss Ayushi. You're from Gujarat, right?
yes, sir.
Could you tell us what Gujarat is known for?
It's actually known for multiple things, but some of the highlights are definitely the Statue of Unity. Um, there's also Gift City in Gandhinagar, which is being built, and the food.
Okay. What are your hobbies?
I have been quite interested in art since I was a young child. Um, So I've been formally trained in oil painting. But other than that, I have also explored watercolor painting. Nowadays I'm trying to explore digital mediums of art. So I'm trying to learn video editing and softwares like Photoshop and Illustrator.
But isn't painting related to your work only? Like, how's it different?
It definitely is. One of the reasons that my work is related to painting is because I was that inclined towards this hobby that I decided to pursue it professionally. So it actually works in reverse. And although, art is so diverse, there's so much to explore that even if I start with one thing, there's always something new that comes up. Like I was interested in oil painting, but now I have these digital mediums to explore. And other than that, I've always been interested in other things like dancing. I was also a part of the roller skating team in my school. But art is one hobby that first comes up to my mind whenever I'm asked about it.
Okay, so name a few painters you know.
Sure, ma'am. I would like to name some of my favorite painters. So one of them is Miss Amrita Shergill. And then the classics like Salvador Dali and Pablo Picasso.
Could you tell us about Pablo Picasso and his paintings?
Uh, so Pablo Picasso was an expressionist painter, and he's one of the pioneers of the Cubism movement. So we do see a lot of Cubist paintings in his portfolio. So that's what.
Okay, all right, Aishi. But why do you want to pursue an MBA? How exactly does an MBA fit into the life of a fashion designer?
I would like to thank you for the question, ma'am, first of all, and I would like to answer it in two parts. So, why would I like to pursue an MBA? Is because while working as a designer, I was exposed to a lot of management aspects of how my company functions. So, I was dealing with a lot of retailers, being a part of a lot of B2B deals. And that's where I realized that this is something that's very interesting to me, and I would like to pursue it further. And MBA is one of the options through which I could formally get a formal education and pursue it. And then how does it relate to a fashion designer? I think one thing synonymous between design and management is that it relies a lot on analysis of your market and then making an informed decision. So even when we are designing, like I said, we think about the customer, we think about how we can offer the best product to them. And I think management is also a lot about what your market is, who your customer is. And that's where I find a link between the two.
Okay, given that you've decided to pursue an MBA, what are your expectations from an ideal B school?
Um, One of the key expectations will be that I'm getting an opportunity to be a learner again. And therefore, I would love to be a part of a B school where the culture is so open that you can easily reach out to your professors. You can work with them, maybe help them out in their research projects and learn as much as possible. So, that free flowing communication is one of the things that I really want to have in my B school. Other than that, I would like to study alongside some of the most competitive, intelligent, smart peers because peer-to-peer learning is one of the key aspects of your MBA. So I would like to get the best out of it.
All right, Aishi, thank you so much. All the best.
Thanks.
Thank you
All
so
the
much. It
best.
was great speaking to you today.
All right. So this was a balanced interview with a mix of questions around the aspirant's academic background, a place of origin, work experience, and points of interest. The few points I would mention as feedback would be number one, preparation. The interviewee was well prepared and it showed in her answers. She was able to articulate her thoughts and experiences effectively. Number two, her communication skills. She demonstrated excellent communication skills. Her answers were clear, concise, and well structured. Her tone was confident and engaging, which brings me to the third point of feedback, confidence. The interviewee demonstrated confidence throughout the interview, which made her come across as a strong candidate for the role. This is definitely an interview the aspirants could learn a lot from. Thank you.
Right. In order to add to the tips mentioned before, here are some more. Fourth, being pleasant. Now, smiling through the interview, it actually it goes a long way in, having a connection or building a connection with the interviewers. Interview should generally go both ways. They should also feel happy speaking with you. Fifth point, voice modulation. Stressing certain points can signal that you know the significance of it. And that also can go a long way in ensuring that you know what you're talking about. So, this is something that was also done by the interviewee here. And last but not the least, not knowing something is absolutely okay. For example, the interviewee here did not know what the PE ratio was. She said what she knew and was truthful in saying she didn't know the in depth details of the same. And that is exactly how you should be able to portray if you do not know some things. I hope you find these tips very useful. All the best.